Imagine waking up one day and realizing that nothing excites you anymore. The things that once brought joy now feel empty, and the hobbies that once sparked enthusiasm seem dull, almost like chores. Conversations that used to engage you now feel repetitive and meaningless. Even activities designed for pleasure, movies, music, social gatherings, fail to ignite the spark they once did. You search for distractions, hoping something will pull you out of this state, but nothing truly satisfies. A strange and unsettling emptiness takes hold, and you begin to wonder, is this all there is? If you have ever felt this way, you are not alone. This experience is more common than people realize. Yet, if you understand what truly causes it, you might discover that it isn't just a problem to be ignored, but a message waiting to be understood. At first glance, this feeling might seem like mere boredom or a passing phase of exhaustion. But what if it's something much deeper? What if this emptiness isn't a flaw, but a sign? Today we will unravel this phenomenon, going beyond the surface and into the depths of human psychology and philosophy. Why does life sometimes lose its vibrancy? What hidden forces are at play when nothing feels fulfilling anymore? And most importantly, how can you break free from this state and reconnect with meaning, passion, and purpose? By the end of this journey, we will uncover a profound truth, one that has the potential to change not just how you feel, but how you perceive life itself. Swiss psychologist Carl Jung, one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century, devoted much of his work to understanding the human experience. He believed that when a person feels disconnected from meaning, it's not simply a matter of losing interest in certain activities. It's a profound signal from the unconscious mind. It reveals a deeper disconnection from oneself, from true desires, and from the innate call to growth. Consider how we are shaped by society. From a young age, we are taught that happiness is something to be pursued, often linked to external achievements, good grades, a respectable career, financial stability, social recognition. We are conditioned to believe that fulfillment comes from doing what is expected of us, from following a predetermined path. And for a time, this may work. But what happens when, despite checking all the boxes, life still feels empty? What happens when the things we were told would bring joy no longer do? Jung suggested that when this occurs, it is not a sign of failure, but an invitation to move beyond superficial pleasures and embark on a deeper journey of self-discovery. This process, which he called individuation, is the path to uncovering one's true self, free from societal expectations and conditioned beliefs. Yet, most people resist this journey. When faced with a sense of emptiness, they seek more distractions, new hobbies, new entertainment, new experiences, hoping to reignite the excitement they once felt. They fear stillness because stillness forces them to confront uncomfortable truths. But it is in this very confrontation that the path forward is revealed. Think about this. When was the last time you truly felt alive? Not just entertained, not just distracted, but deeply, profoundly alive. Can you remember a moment when you felt completely in sync with yourself, when time seemed to dissolve and you were fully present in what you were doing? If that feeling seems distant or non-existent, it may be a sign that you have outgrown the things that once defined you. This feeling of emptiness is not a flaw. It's not something to suppress or be ashamed of. It's a sign that something within you is shifting, you are evolving, and with evolution comes discomfort. The things that once provided meaning may no longer serve you because you are being called to seek something deeper. The question is, will you answer that call? Before we can understand how to reignite passion and purpose, we must first examine the hidden forces that contribute to this sense of disconnection. Psychological patterns, societal conditioning, and even biological influences all play a role in shaping how we experience life. Until we recognize these forces, we remain trapped in an endless cycle, searching for meaning in places where it can no longer be found. In the next part, we will uncover these hidden influences and explore why so many people struggle with this feeling of disconnection. More importantly, we will begin to illuminate the path forward, a path that leads not just to fleeting happiness, but to something far more profound, a life that feels truly alive. What if the emptiness you feel is not a problem, but a message? A signal from the depths of your psyche that something within you is shifting, demanding attention. Yet, instead of listening, most people try to escape it. They drown themselves in distractions, constant entertainment, endless scrolling, impulsive decisions, hoping that if they keep moving, they will outrun the void. But they never do. Carl Jung believed that this inner emptiness is not something to be ignored or feared. He argued that when life feels dull and meaningless, it is often because we are disconnected from our own inner world. He described this disconnection as the suppression of the self, the deepest, truest version of who we are. Modern psychology supports this idea. Studies have shown that a lack of engagement with personal meaning can lead to feelings of depression, anxiety, and emotional numbness. The mind craves purpose. When we ignore our inner calling, we fall into a state of stagnation, a limbo where nothing truly excites or fulfills us. But where does this disconnection come from? Why do so many people experience this loss of meaning? The answer lies in the way society conditions us to live. From childhood, we are taught to follow a structured path, study hard, get a good job, build a secure life. We are rewarded for productivity, for meeting expectations, for fitting into predefined roles. Success is measured by external achievements, not inner fulfillment. And so, we build lives that look good on the outside, but feel hollow on the inside. At first, we may not even notice it. The busyness of life keeps us distracted. But eventually, the cracks begin to show. The things we once found enjoyable start to lose their magic. The goals we once pursued no longer inspire us. We begin to sense that something is missing, but we do not know what. Jung suggested that this moment of realization is crucial. It marks the beginning of a deeper transformation, but only if we choose to face it. Many people, when confronted with this inner void, seek external solutions. They change careers, move to a new city, start new relationships, hoping that something outside of them will restore their sense of meaning. But the truth is, no external change will ever be enough if the real problem lies within. The feeling that nothing is fun anymore is often a symptom of something deeper, an identity crisis. You may no longer resonate with the person you once were, but you have not yet discovered who you are meant to become. You are standing at the threshold of transformation, but stepping through requires something that most people fear: stillness. Stillness forces us to confront the truth about ourselves. It strips away the distractions and reveals what lies beneath: suppressed desires, unresolved emotions, unfulfilled potential. It is uncomfortable, even painful, but it is necessary. Because only when we face these truths can we begin the process of rediscovering what truly matters to us. This is why Jung emphasized the importance of introspection. He believed that to overcome this state of emptiness, we must turn inward. We must ask difficult questions. Who am I beyond my achievements? What truly excites me beyond what society tells me should? What have I been avoiding within myself? These questions are not easy to answer, but they hold the key to breaking free from the cycle of emotional numbness. Because meaning is not something we passively receive from the world, it is something we create, and the ability to create it begins with self-awareness. Consider this. When was the last time you truly explored yourself? Not just in the context of your career or social role, but as a person with unique thoughts, desires, and dreams? When was the last time you allowed yourself to be curious about life, to pursue something simply because it fascinated you? One of the greatest tragedies of modern life is that people stop being curious. They stop exploring. They settle into routines that slowly drain them of passion, mistaking stability for fulfillment. But there is a way out. There is a way to reignite a sense of meaning, to rediscover the things that make life feel worth living. The path forward begins with a shift in perspective. Instead of fearing this emptiness, we must learn to see it as a doorway, an invitation to something greater. But what exactly lies on the other side of that doorway? How do we move from stagnation to renewal, from emptiness to fulfillment? In the next section, we will explore the practical steps you can take to reconnect with meaning and passion, steps that are not just theoretical, but deeply transformative. By the end, you will understand why this phase of emptiness, rather than being a dead end, might just be the most important turning point of your life. There is a moment in life when the world seems to lose its color. The things that once brought joy become routine. The activities that once sparked excitement now feel mechanical. You may wonder, why does nothing feel fulfilling anymore? Why does everything seem dull and repetitive? But what if the answer is not in the world around you, but within you? Carl Jung believed that these feelings of emptiness and disconnection are not random. They are signals, messages from the unconscious mind urging us to evolve. He called this process individuation, the journey of becoming one's true self. The challenge, however, is that most people resist this journey. They cling to old identities, habits, and ways of thinking, even when they no longer serve them. They fear change, even when staying the same is causing them pain. But here's the truth. When life feels empty, it is not because there is nothing left to enjoy. It is because you have outgrown the things that once satisfied you. Just like a snake sheds its skin when it becomes too tight, we too must shed outdated versions of ourselves to make room for new growth. The discomfort you feel is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that you are being called to a deeper, more authentic way of living. Yet most people ignore this calling. Instead, they search for external solutions. They buy new things, seek new experiences, surround themselves with distractions, all in an attempt to escape the discomfort of their own thoughts. But no matter how many new experiences they chase, the feeling always returns. Because the real issue is not outside of them. It is within. Think about it. How often do you truly sit with yourself, without distractions? How often do you allow yourself to reflect on what you really want? Not what others expect from you, not what society tells you should make you happy, but what genuinely sparks something within you. For many, the answer is rarely, if ever, and this is where the problem begins. In the modern world, we are constantly overstimulated. Social media, endless entertainment, instant gratification. All of these things keep our minds occupied, but they do not nourish our souls. They provide momentary pleasure, but not lasting fulfillment. And over time, we become numb. The things that once excited us lose their impact. The constant stream of distractions dulls our ability to experience true joy. And so, we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of seeking more, yet feeling less. Jung warned against this passive approach to life. He argued that true fulfillment does not come from external pleasures, but from inner transformation. The more we suppress our deeper needs, our need for meaning, purpose, and authentic self-expression, the more disconnected we become. And that disconnection is what creates the feeling that nothing is fun anymore. So, how do we break free? How do we reignite the sense of passion and wonder that seems to have faded? The answer lies in conscious action. If the problem is disconnection, then the solution is reconnection. Reconnection with ourselves, with our inner desires, with the things that make us feel truly alive. The first step is to create space for stillness. It may sound simple, but in a world full of distractions, true stillness is rare. Sit in silence. Observe your thoughts. Pay attention to what arises when you are not occupied with tasks and distractions. It is in these quiet moments that the most profound realizations emerge. The second step is to explore without expectation. Many people fall into the trap of believing that every activity must be productive or lead to a specific result. But this mindset kills curiosity. Instead, give yourself permission to explore things simply because they interest you. Read a book on a topic that fascinates you. Try an activity you have never done before. Follow your curiosity, even if it seems small or insignificant. Because often, it is through these moments of exploration that we rediscover what truly excites us. The third step is to reflect on your past joys. Think back to a time when you felt deeply engaged with life. What were you doing? What about it made you feel alive? Many times, the things that once brought us joy still have the power to do so. We have just lost touch with them. Revisiting old passions without judgment or pressure can help rekindle a lost spark. Finally, the most important step is to embrace transformation. If you feel disconnected from life, it is because some part of you is ready to evolve. Do not resist this process. Lean into it. Allow yourself to question your beliefs, your habits, your priorities. Be open to the possibility that the life you once wanted may not be the life you need now. Change is not something to fear. It is the gateway to a deeper, more fulfilling existence. At this point, you may be wondering, but what if I have tried all of this and still feel lost? What if, no matter what I do, the emptiness remains? The answer to that question is perhaps the most important insight of all, because there is one final fundamental truth about meaning and fulfillment, one that, once understood, has the power to shift everything. And that is exactly what we will uncover in the next section. There is a secret about meaning that many people never realize, a truth so profound that once understood, it can completely shift the way you experience life. And that truth is this: meaning is not something you find, it is something you create. Many people spend their lives searching for meaning, as if it is some hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. They believe that one day they will stumble upon the perfect career, the perfect passion, or the perfect purpose that will suddenly make everything feel worthwhile. But this search is often endless because meaning is not an external object. It is an internal experience. Carl Jung understood this deeply. He believed that the ultimate goal of human life is individuation, the process of integrating all parts of ourselves, both the light and the dark, to become whole. And this wholeness does not come from chasing something outside of us. It comes from becoming fully ourselves. The more we align with our authentic nature, the more meaningful life becomes. So, if you feel that nothing excites you anymore, perhaps the real question is not, where can I find meaning, but rather, how can I bring meaning into what I do? This is the final and most powerful step, learning to infuse life with meaning rather than waiting for it to appear. One way to do this is through deep engagement. In today's world, we have become accustomed to shallow interactions. We skim through books instead of deeply reading them. We scroll through social media instead of having real conversations. We jump from activity to activity without ever truly immersing ourselves in anything. And in doing so, we rob ourselves of the deep joy that comes from true presence. Consider this. When was the last time you did something with your full attention? When was the last time you allowed yourself to be completely absorbed in an experience? Studies in psychology have shown that flow states, moments of deep focus and engagement, are directly linked to increased happiness and fulfillment. The more present we are, the more meaningful life feels. Another way to create meaning is through service and contribution. Many people feel empty because their lives revolve solely around themselves, their own needs, desires, and personal struggles. But meaning often emerges when we shift our focus outward, when we find ways to contribute to something greater than ourselves. This does not mean you need to change the world in a dramatic way. Even small acts of kindness, teaching, mentoring, or creating something valuable for others can generate a profound sense of purpose. Jung also spoke of the importance of confronting the unconscious. If you feel disconnected from life, it may be because there are parts of yourself you have been avoiding. Maybe there are fears, emotions, or desires that you have pushed aside because they do not fit the image you have of yourself. But these suppressed parts do not disappear. They linger beneath the surface, creating a vague sense of unease, of something missing. The only way to restore wholeness is to face these hidden aspects of yourself. This is why deep self-reflection, therapy, or journaling can be so powerful. By bringing unconscious thoughts and feelings into awareness, you reclaim lost parts of yourself. And the more whole you become, the more life regains its richness. Ultimately, the feeling that nothing is fun anymore is not a sign that life is meaningless. It is a sign that you are ready for something more. It is an invitation to evolve, to break free from old ways of living, to step into a deeper, more authentic version of yourself. But this transformation does not happen passively. It requires action. It requires a conscious choice to engage with life, to seek depth rather than distraction, to create meaning rather than wait for it to appear. So, ask yourself, what is one thing I can do today to engage more deeply with life? What is one area where I can bring more meaning and presence? Because in the end, the most important truth is this: meaning is not something you find out there. It is something you build, step by step, moment by moment. And the power to create it has always been within you.